Sorry about the delay, guys, but you've waited long enough for me to wrap up this video. This is actually from yesterday's video, but I got home and got busy and wasn't able to complete my thoughts yesterday. Obi-Wan, Episode 3. Spoilers. 5, 4, 3, 2. Here we go. So we open the episode with Obi-Wan trying to communicate with his master Qui-Gon Jinn through the Force, as a Force ghost, as Yoda proclaimed to him at the end of Episode 3, "I've got some training for you. Speak with your master, you will," and such. Obi-Wan apparently has not been able to connect with Qui-Gon yet. So at the beginning of the episode, we open with Obi-Wan trying to reach Qui-Gon. He's felt Anakin's presence in the Force. He knows Vader is coming for him, so he's really pleading for help. And then we jump off into the episode. A lot of great stuff here. If you want a good detailed breakdown, check out Charlie over at Emergency Awesome on YouTube, or check out my guy Christian Harloff, formerly of Collider. He does a lot really fun breakdowns. Okay, hold that thought. So throughout the episode, we get some really touching moments between Leia and Obi-Wan. And it's going to be hard to try to piece it back to where canon sat originally, where Leia wasn't very familiar with Obi-Wan, just knew that he served her father during the Clone Wars. But I think the way that they're going to be able to pull that off is when Luke goes to rescue Leia in Episode 4, A New Hope. He says, "Ben Kenobi sent me." And she's like, "Oh, Ben Kenobi, great." Like she knew him. So hopefully they'll smooth it out. But if not, these are just some things that are going to maybe mess with us regarding canon a little bit. We're just going to have to kind of let that stuff go and enjoy it for what it is. I have been clamoring for more Vader, even though there's lots of Vader, but I've been clamoring for more Vader since forever. He's my favorite. He is my favorite all-time pop culture icon. Darth Vader, to me, can you see him? I don't know if that's, it's kind of dark down there. You see him? Vader is a huge part of my life. Like, he's got one of the greatest stories in fictional history, where he goes from a child, extremely powerful, could possibly be the chosen one. Now we're not sure if it was him or Grogu that they were referring to. Clearly it was him in the original, but now it could be expanded because Grogu was born around the same time. Grogu is the small Yoda creature from The Mandalorian. If you're not hip, if you're not, I don't know what you've been doing with your lives. But I've been asking for more Vader, and that's exactly what we got. You see the conflict between the Inquisitors, the fight for power. And I'm convinced that the Grand Inquisitor is not dead. He might be evolving, hopefully, into what we know from Rebels. But he's not dead. But in the meantime, Reva and Brother Five are fighting for who's going to be that one, you know? But Vader told Reva personally, he said, "If you bring in Obi-Wan, you're the Grand Inquisitor. But if you fail me, you won't even have time to be sorry because you'll be dead." I love how evil and twisted and chaotic Vader is in this episode. He is so much exactly who I thought he would be in between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. He's been living for 10 years, stewing on that battle in Mustafar where Obi-Wan had the higher ground, and we all know how that went down. And Obi-Wan thought he was dead this whole time. Thought Anakin was dead. And now he knows that Anakin is alive, and Anakin is this menacing figure, killing random citizens as he walks through the town in an intimidation factor. And then, spoiler, he and Obi-Wan get into their first fight of this series. And Obi-Wan looks pedestrian. Now, you have to understand that he's disconnected from the Force. He hasn't used the Force in a decade, because if he uses the Force, the dark side can pinpoint him and find out. And a lot of what he was doing here was he was trying to get Vader to go in the opposite direction of where Leia was. Because if Vader felt Leia's presence, it could have thrown everything off. I mean, there's a lot of what if versions. Like, what if, Luke and Leia both grew up with a good Anakin Vader? So Vader came back to the light side and his uniform was all white. And what if Padme was still alive? And they had like this supreme Jedi family, right? But that's not the case, is it? We know what happened. We know that Emperor Palpatine just got everybody all screwed up because he was playing all the games. And and then when Vader was the one that broke Padme's heart, or Anakin's the one that broke Padme's heart, which eventually was the cause of her death. The droid said that they didn't know why she wasn't responsive. She just wasn't. And it's because she died of a broken heart, which is one of the saddest parts of the whole thing. And Vader put himself deep into the dark side through excruciating pain, so that he can revel in his dark-sidedness. And for 10 years, he's been doing this, waiting for an opportunity to find and kill his former master. And when they get together in this one, it is not looking good for our hero Obi-Wan. Vader's just treating him like he's food, like he's a plaything, like he's nothing. And essentially he is. Like, Vader can do whatever he wants. At one point he lifts him up with the Force, and he's Force choking him in midair. I mean, he's spilling fuel on the ground, and he lights a fire with the saber so that he can make Obi-Wan experience the pain that he suffered at his hands. He drops Obi-Wan in the fire, and it's like, you're going to suffer for a long time. I'm just going to torture you. God, what a amazing sequence. Well, they left it on a cliffhanger. There's only 6 episodes, but I just heard today that they're going to be renewing for season 2, which is fantastic. I'm here for it. We found out that Quinlan Vos is alive and well in canon. He's a part of this. They mentioned him and a couple of other Jedis. I really feel like they're going to also weave in Fallen Order, the video game, with Cameron Monaghan and Cal Kestis is the character that he plays. He's another lost Jedi. It would weave into this perfectly. And I think with the Underground Railroad aspect of the Jedi treatment of this episode, we could see that happening. We could probably see Ghost making an appearance with the crew, Hera and them. And because that might be their only way off planet, because the Empire controls the loading stations. Anyway, have you seen the episode? Have you been watching? Did you watch Revenge of the Sith before you started watching it to really be up to speed? I like to fully engross myself in this stuff when it's going on. I watched Empire. I watched Revenge of the Sith again. I actually went back and watched Phantom Menace again too, just for little aspects of Anakin and Qui-Gon. But I watched Revenge of the Sith, and then I started watching the Obi-Wan series, and I've watched all 3 episodes on about 4 times now. I love it. I love what they're doing. I love the possibility of what they're doing. I love the fact that they could bring in so many characters from the animated series, from they're bringing in some characters from the books now, Legends books that now will become canonized. Man, what a fun time to be a Star Wars fan. And all these people that are talking all this stuff, man, it is just shut up and enjoy it. It's great. And Reva looks like she might be on her way towards a redemption arc. She took a look at that Jedi symbol on the wall in there, and from the look on her face, she had doubt. She had doubt about her mission, doubt about what she was doing. And then the anger took over, and she started throwing stuff around. But I think she's going to spend some time with Leia in the next episode, and Leia's probably going to break her down and get through to her. We'll see how it goes. I love it. Let me know your thoughts. Please don't spoil it in the comments for those that haven't seen it. You were fair warned back when I started this video about the spoilers. So hopefully you cut out if you haven't seen it. All right. Join me later today. Actually, I'll probably be posting it tomorrow, but join me later today when I'll talk about The Boys. The Boys is back on Amazon for season 3, and it's going to be hard to talk about The Boys without cursing because it was epic. They started that shit with a bang. Like, they came right at you. Kind of the same way that Obi-Wan episode 3 just laid it all out for you. They put it on the table and said, here's what we got. James Earl Jones returns to voice him. I don't know if they did some things in the lab, but his voice sounds young and crisp. In Rogue One, he sounded a little bit older, you could tell. James Earl Jones is 91 now. And the fact that he's even still a part of this is a blessing, and we all should be thanking our freaking lucky Millennium Falcon stars. He's one of the greatest of all time, and he brought Vader to life. Imagine, there's clips of behind-the-scenes footage of David Prowse doing the voice of Vader when he was in costume. And, you know, he's, oh, turn over the ship right now. It just sounded so wrong. James Earl Jones came in and brought Vader to life. And now he's the iconic character that we all know and love. And he's back, baby. He's back in all his glory. His beautiful armor is shiny and new. For the opening sequence, just after the opening sequence, we see him getting put together inside after he comes out of the Bacta tank near his throne room in Mustafar, in his castle, with this like big old tuning fork to the dark side, just sitting on dark side energy, man. What a great, great time to be a fan. Hope you enjoy it. Hope you enjoyed this. Do something exciting or watch the show. But that's exciting, so that'd be the same thing. See you later.